After a flight from Los Angeles to Texas, I experienced a distressing incident. I realized my wallet and keys were missing upon disembarking. My husband and I spent several hours at the airport working with security to find these items. Despite reviewing CCTV footage, we had no success. Leaving the airport, I felt an overwhelming sense of weariness and defeat, compounded by the fruitless efforts in the long flight. Returning home, we were greeted by an unsettling sight. Our front door was ajar, a clear sign that something was wrong. Inside, our living room was in chaos, with furniture overturned and items scattered. It was evident our home had been ransacked, a stark contrast to the peaceful and orderly space it once was. This discovery filled me with a deep sense of unease, as the safety of our home had been disrupted. While trying to process the disordered state of our home, a noise from the bathroom startled us. It was clear someone or something was inside our house. My heart raced with fear and disbelief. My husband, alert and cautious, called out in a whisper but received no response. The ensuing silence intensified our fear. We decided to dial 911, a crucial step towards seeking help in a situation that had quickly spiraled out of control. In a sudden, jarring moment, the intruder emerged from the bathroom. He was a shadowy figure, his eyes wide with evident panic. The encounter was brief yet intense. The intruder, in a desperate bid for escape, made a hasty dash through the house. His actions were hurried and uncoordinated, a clear sign of his frantic state of mind. As he reached the window, he broke it in his attempt to flee. The sound of shattering glass filled the house, punctuating the tense atmosphere. My husband and I were left in a state of shock, barely able to process the reality of this intrusion. The violent nature of the intruder's escape was startling. We stood in our disrupted living room, trying to make sense of what had just occurred. The broken windows served as a stark reminder of the intrusion, its pieces scattered across the floor. The situation was overwhelming, a mix of disbelief and the dawning realization of the danger we had just faced in our home. Shortly after the intruder's escape, the police arrived at our home. They began assessing the scene, methodically observing the disarray and taking statements from my husband and me. Their expressions were serious, reflecting the gravity of the situation. During their investigation, they shared a disturbing possibility. The intruder likely used my lost keys and wallet to gain entry. This revelation hit us hard, instilling a deep sense of vulnerability and a stark breach of our security. In the days following the home invasion, I struggled with lasting trauma. Sleep became a challenge, with every sound in the house triggering an immediate sense of alertness and fear. This ongoing state of fear was a constant reminder of our vulnerability and the violation of our once safe haven. The images of our ransacked home and the menacing figure of the intruder haunted me. My perception of safety within my own home had been irreversibly changed. The sense of security and comfort I once associated with my home had been altered, leaving a profound impact on my psyche. As an event manager, my job involves frequent air travel. This particular flight, however, stood out as an unnerving experience in my flying routine. I was seated next to a man who initially seemed unremarkable. This normalcy set the stage for the disturbing turn of events. The flight began uneventfully. The man next to me, who at first appeared ordinary, soon began to exhibit unsettling behavior. He pulled out a tattered notebook, worn from extensive use. A casual glance at his writing revealed something alarming. He was writing about me. His notes weren't just casual observations, they were detailed descriptions of my appearance and actions, even speculating about my personal life. His pen moved with a fierce urgency, hinting at an obsessive nature. This unexpected behavior introduced a growing sense of unease. His eyes were locked onto me, but not fixated on his notebook. They were unblinking and intense, adding to the oppressive atmosphere around me. This shift in his demeanor marked a significant turn in the narrative, transforming the flight into a deeply unsettling experience. As the flight progressed, my discomfort escalated. No matter how much I tried to divert my attention, the man sitting beside me became unavoidable. His unblinking stares bore into me, intensifying the feeling of being under constant surveillance. The atmosphere in the cabin shifted palpably. What was once just another flight began to feel like a scene from a thriller. The air grew thick, laden with tension, as if charged with a silent, menacing energy emanating from him. His unwavering focus on me made it impossible to shake off the mounting dread. Each glance in my direction felt like an intrusion, piercing through any semblance of normalcy. His persistent attention created a bubble of discomfort around me, isolating me in a sea of unsuspecting passengers, unaware of the unsettling drama unfolding in their midst. The tension peaked when the man leaned in close to me, invading my personal space. His breath was foul, and his voice menacingly whispered. He threatened to follow me after the flight, his words hinting at potential violence. This confrontation shocked me, filling me with overwhelming fear. I felt trapped, tens of thousands of feet in the air, sitting next to someone who had just threatened my safety. His threatening words lingered in my mind, a clearly and immediately unsettling danger. As soon as the plane landed, I acted quickly and decisively. My voice shook, but was urgent as I communicated with the flight attendants. I explained the situation, conveying the seriousness of the threat I had faced. The flight attendants responded promptly, showing an immediate understanding of the gravity of the situation. They escorted me off the plane, prioritizing my safety and ensuring I was kept from the man. Meanwhile, the man experienced a complete breakdown. He began screaming incoherently, his behavior erratic as the police took him into custody. This rapid escalation of events underscored the severity of the threat. The need for swift intervention to ensure my safety was evident, and the urgency of the response from both the flight attendants and the police. The situation unfolded quickly, transitioning from a threatening encounter to an emergency requiring immediate action. In the summer of 2009, my sister and I, aged 9 and 7, were seated near a crowded gate at a bustling airport. The terminal was alive with the sounds of announcements and the chatter of passengers. Our parents had momentarily stepped away to check our flight status, leaving us in what seemed like the safe environment of the airport. The tranquility of our wait was interrupted when a middle-aged couple approached us. Their smiles were too wide, appearing forced, and their eyes nervously scanned the area. They introduced themselves as our dad's cousins, a claim that struck me as odd, considering we had never met or heard of them before. Their insistence on taking us to meet their kids, waiting in the parking lot, triggered many suspicions. As we walked with them through the airport, the man's grip on my shoulder was firm, his fingers digging in slightly. The woman, alongside us, glanced back frequently. Her smile was fixed, not reaching her eyes, which moved like those of a cornered animal. The usual airport bustle faded into the background as a sense of dread grew within me. My sister's hand in mine trembled, reflecting our shared unease. This situation felt wrong on many levels, and the further we walked, the more the sense of danger grew. As we walked through the airport with the couple, my mind was overwhelmed with confusion and fear. I couldn't understand why we had never heard of these so-called relatives. The request to meet other family members in a parking lot seemed increasingly suspicious and unsafe. My sister, younger and more vulnerable, shared my unease. Her hand, clasped tightly in mine, trembled, a clear sign of our shared fear. In a moment of clarity and courage, I realized we had to escape. My heart pounded with a mix of fear and adrenaline. I yanked my sister's hand with a sudden burst of energy and broke free from the man's grasp. We ran desperately back towards a crowded terminal, my sister's small cries echoing my urgency. Our commoding quickly caught the attention of airport security. Officers sprang into action, sprinting towards us with the radios crackling. Realizing their plot was exposed, the couple tried to blend into the crowd. However, their efforts were futile against a swift response of the security team. They were apprehended, ending their chance to cause further harm. This intervention by airport security brought a sense of relief and safety to a terrifying situation. After the ordeal, my sister and I were reunited with our parents. The scene was emotionally charged. Our parents were distraught, but immensely relieved to see us unharmed. Amidst a tearful reunion, we learned the horrifying truth about the couple. The authorities informed us that they were involved in multiple kidnapping cases. Their sinister intentions became clear. They had been exploiting the chaotic environment of the airport to target children like us. This revelation shed light on the grave danger we had been in. The couple's calculated and malicious actions were now apparent. The airport, once a place of excitement, had transformed into a reminder of the danger lurking there. The incident left a lasting impact on me. My perception of airports changed dramatically. They became ominous reminders of danger instead of places of adventure. Memories of the couple's forced smiles and the man's cold grip haunted me. This experience imprinted a long-term psychological impact on me, altering my sense of safety and perception of everyday places.